Welcome along to the Hong Kong Racing Show. Massive show coming up. We're crossing to guests all over the world, including trainer David Hayes in Hong Kong for the latest on his sprinting superstar Ka Ying Rising, who has just arrived in Australia for the Everest. Speaking of Australia, that's where I caught up with Brett Devine from the Australian Turf Club. Brett's going to set the scene for us in terms of the lead up to the Everest in a few weeks. And now Ka Ying Rising isn't the only Hong Kong superstar overseas at the moment. Lucky Sweynesse is getting ready to race in Japan this weekend. We'll be joined shortly by our man Toshi Onikubo in Japan to talk all about him, plus much more. Of course, we'll also have a look at the big card at Sha Tin this weekend too. But firstly, time for me to welcome in my co-pilot, Alex Evers, fresh from a few days in Hawaii. Aloha, Alex. How are things?
Aloha. Hey, Hawaii was lovely. And you know what? If they had actual betting with the TVG through the whirlpool over there, what a perfect place. The races start early enough. I'm not have to be up till 4 and 5 in the morning to watch the final races. But it was lovely. And then unfortunately we got the meet cut short with that little weather there. Hopefully everyone's okay in Hong Kong right now too. Everyone I've talked to seemingly doing well in the storms, but sending them our best. Brownie, it's good to be back with you though, bud.
Yeah, always good to be back. The Lions got a win as well, which was great to see on Monday Night Football. But just on that weather, of course, it was a pretty serious event. Typhoon Regasa, one of the most vicious storms to hit Asia in recent years, and caused some devastation in Hong Kong on Wednesday with the torrential rain and waves that seemed to be taller than your streetlight poles. There was lots of flooding. So, yeah, I'll echo that. Our thoughts with everyone in Hong Kong. Fortunately, all the horses were kept safe. Looks like training resumed remarkably on Thursday, and racing will take place at Sha Tin this Sunday local time, Saturday night North American time. Alex, the Jockey Club certainly did the right thing, calling off Happy Valley nice and early last Sunday, not long after they had to call off the last two races at Sha Tin.
Yeah, and good on them for calling out those races. You could see that the ground was just not going to get better in that spot near the 600. And Purton and Bowman and Bedell went out to walk it. You could see Zach is sticking his umbrella in the ground, and you could visibly see how much deeper it was. The amount of Vincent Ho, the hair, when he came over that spot in the last race that they ran on the turf there, lost his action completely. Looked like he was going to go down. Ferraris' horse slipping on the outside. So Club did the right call there. And I know it's tough to call off those races, but keep the horses, keep the jockeys safe. It's a long, long season, and looks like they're going to rerun that same race that they missed out on at the end of the card as race 9. So kind of go back to last week's show. You can get our picks from that one. I actually like Dancing Code again this time now, a little bit better with the ground being a little softer there, but good to see that everyone's safe. Good to see the racing's going well there, and we're excited to be back on Saturday night our time.
Yeah, for sure. You'll just have to stay up a few hours later than what you had to in Hawaii. Well, plenty of news around. So here's what's making news in Hong Kong. And Alex, first up, you've got the latest on the Magic Man, Joe Moreira, and his potential future in Hong Kong.
Yeah, right after we recorded last week, unfortunate timing for us, they announced that Joe would not be getting his license to be the stable rider for Casper Founds' stable there, which to me, I think it's a great thing. I think the club's preserving, the local development of Ellis Wong. The colony right now is so tough, so packed. We got Probert and Kingscote are still looking to get on the board. A lot of riders that are looking for mounts. So it's just, I think it's very fair to the guys that are currently there. And again, we kind of want to see the development of Ellis there. He's riding really well this season. He ended last season so strongly. So to me, it's good to see the development of the local talent, and you want to keep giving the younger generation guys to look up to. And we like to see them riding so strong. So that's my 2 cents on the piece of news there. But we'll probably see Magic Man in town for HKIR. The fans will be going nuts for him.
I couldn't believe the reception he got on his first ride on HKR last year at Sha Tin, and he just got legged up on his horse, and the whole mounting yard or paddock, whatever we want to call it, just went absolutely wild. Everyone stood up cheering, and he, raised his hand. So he's obviously a very, very popular rider in Hong Kong. So we'll look forward to seeing him hopefully back in mid-December. Well, as I mentioned, a jam-packed show. So we better get to the first of our 3 guests on today's show. Trainer David Hayes joined a media call organised by the Australian Turf Club during the week. I pinged a few questions at him and started with how pleased he was with how Ka Ying Rising has settled into Sydney after the sprint superstar arrived there on Monday morning.
Yeah, he's in great order. He's got some new shoes on, and he's settled in and enjoying having a pick of the grass outside the stable. And he's actually more relaxed in Australia than he is in Hong Kong, which is a good sign, I think.
Can you just talk about his weight, how it's changed, I guess, from his last run last season to the weight that he has put on now and how he's filled out physically?
He's physically about a 20-pound stronger horse. He did lose, I think, 22 pounds if the scales are correct, or they're calibrated the same, because the Hong Kong scales may be different than. But the most important thing is he's eating his feed, he's drinking his food, and there's a consistent weight in Australia. So we reset. I'm expecting him to be racing now at about 140 to 145, and he's virtually undefeated at that weight. So I'm not concerned about his weight. He's carrying terrific condition.
You and your team have obviously known you've had a very special horse with Ka Ying Rising for some time now. But a few weeks ago, when Timeform came out and recognised him globally as the world's top-rated racehorse, what did that mean to you as a trainer?
Yeah, it was a big thrill, actually, to see your champion acknowledged like that. When you think how many horses in the world that go around each week, and he's the top rated by time. So that was terrific. I had one 30 years ago called Better Loosen Up, and I haven't had one in between. So there's a big gap, but not many people get the thrill of training the highest rated horse in the world.
In terms of the competition and what you know of the competition?
The Australian sprinters are famous around the world. So you've got to respect them, and they're obviously last week's winner, Jolly Star, was very impressive. Lady Shallandar was incredibly unlucky. We see her this Friday. We'll be watching her closely. And the new 3-year-old that Chris Waller's 4-year-old that Chris Waller's just nominated, who was incredibly unlucky in the Group 1. So it's not going to be a walk in the park. But I'd say if ratings are any guide, they all need to probably improve on their current ratings to beat him, I think.
We've seen him train just so beautifully over the Sha Tin dirt. It looks like he could handle that surface just as well as what he could handle the turf. Would there ever be any plans in the future of trying him over the dirt in any particular North American race or somewhere else around the world?
At the moment, the program's so straightforward for him on the turf, and without overusing him, I probably doubt it, because there's just so many great options in Japan turf, Dubai turf, Australia, of course, turf. Australia's not as straightforward as the other countries because of our quarantine protocols. So with that huge quarantine that he's going through, I would probably, if it worked, repeat next year, just put him on a similar path.
Alex, I knew the answer to the question would be no, but couldn't resist asking David if we'll ever see Ka Ying Rising on the dirt in North America. I think he basically crushed our dreams this time, though.
I know. We're not going to get a rich tapestry there, unfortunately. I'm telling you, though, he would be, to me, a lock in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. No one would beat him at 1,200 meters in the dirt at Del Mar, hands down.
Oh, God.
I know Mr. Carroll would agree with me on that, too. Hands down.
Yeah.
Jokes aside, he is like literally one of the most efficient moving dirt. I've said it before. He's one of the most efficient moving horses on the dirt too. And from all the videos and clips I've been tagged in of him over in Australia, he looks absolutely phenomenal. It's going to take a deluge and an act of God probably to keep that horse out of the winner's circle.
Yeah, 100%. Unless the Breeders' Cup can get really close to David Hayes and the ownership group, I don't think we'll see him in North America, but guys, do your best, won't you? I'd love to see it. But anyway, as many of our viewers would know, I was just in Australia last week myself, and we, of course, caught up with jockey Glyn Schofield as our special guest in last week's show. While I was there, I also had the chance to catch up with Brett Devine, the man in charge of all the media and broadcast for the Everest there at Royal Randwick in the ATC. Here's that interview now. Well, it's going to be a very busy few weeks ahead for the man beside me. I'm with Brett Devine, the head of media and broadcast here at Royal Randwick Racecourse in Sydney, Australia. Brett, Ka Ying Rising, the world's top-rated horse, is finally here in Sydney, out at Canterbury. Can you tell me what the facilities are like there in terms of quarantine, and then what's in store for the next couple of weeks for Ka Ying Rising?
Andrew, it's so exciting to see this horse touch down and get into Canterbury Park. He looks remarkably well for his travel, and he's going to go to one of the best quarantine centres anywhere in the world. Canterbury Park Racecourse is a functioning racecourse which is completely shut down for quarantine for the next few weeks while these horses come to race in Australia. So they have the full facilities of a full course proper grass track, a full poly track, synthetic track, what we call a poly track here in Sydney. He can train there. Big barns, they're old-fashioned barns that the horse stays in, and just all the best facilities. William Haggis, for instance, one of the best-known trainers in the world, is rated at the best quarantine centre he's ever seen. So Ka Ying Rising, his status as the world's best sprinter, he deserves some of the best facilities, and I'm sure he's going to lap them up. And he's really just adding to the juggernaut that this race has become. It's certainly in my time here, this is the 8th Everest, is going to be the most exciting yet, I'm sure, and the most watched around the world. Given that this horse has such a high profile, I'm sure the Hong Kong punters are going to really pile into him and make sure that he starts a red-hot favourite. So look, it's one of the more exciting things that I've seen here at Royal Randwick in a long time.
Yeah, so you mentioned the Hong Kong punters. It's a world pool race, is it, the Everest?
Absolutely is a world pool race. So I can only imagine the support that this horse is going to get from his fans, certainly in his homeland, but also around the world, and will really boost that world pool. I'm sure that it'll probably break all records.
Yeah, well, currently I think $1.90 out there, but might be a little bit shorter with the Hong Kong punters getting involved in the world pool. He trials here at Royal Randwick on October 7. Can you talk us through barrier trials and what they're all about? Because we don't have them in the United States.
Yeah, well, basically they're practice runs, they're training runs, but simulated under race conditions. So normally the horses won't be tested to their full speed, their full potential, but it's a fitness exercise, it's an educational piece for the horse to have his first look at Royal Randwick out of the barriers against some other horses. Of course, it doesn't matter if he wins or not in that trial, it's just a matter of getting him through the day and coming out very healthy. His trainer David Hayes, obviously amazing experience here in Australia, and will know everything there is to know about barrier trials and how to prepare him. So really excited about that. Zach is flying in that day, we've been told, so he's going to come to ride Ka Ying Rising. Of course, Zach's had some remarkable success here at Royal Randwick, so again, he's no stranger to it. The only one will be Ka Ying, but yeah, I'm sure he'll find his way around the track really well, and it'll be a really exciting event for everybody. We're going to invite all the public out, pretty much treat it as a little mini race day, and put on a free breakfast and let all the fans come out and just soak up all the atmosphere. That'll be a good 11 days out from the actual race itself, so the excitement will be at fever pitch by then.
Yeah, and can you tell us a little bit about the interest in the Everest from a mainstream, I guess, media and public perspective? Like, you know, it's a very specialised sport in America, except for, of course, the Kentucky Derby, and then everybody gets involved, just like the Melbourne Cup. But has the Everest become that race that's kind of transcended just racing and got into the sports sphere of things?
Yeah, it absolutely has. It features on all the main news bulletins of a night, all the way leading up to it, on the front pages of the newspapers. It's a sold-out event. So last year we sold out 3 days before the race itself. Well, this year our ticket sales are going at twice that pace from last year. So we expect to sell out Royal Randwick about 2 or 3 weeks out from the actual race. Yeah. And the other thing that it's done, Andrew, is bring younger people to the track, and that's why it has become more mainstream. It's actually the demographic, 75 or 80% of tickets are people under 35. So certainly it's brought a younger audience to the sport, more interest. The excitement and the atmosphere here is second to none of any day in Randwick, at least in Royal Randwick, if not Australian racing. Perhaps the Melbourne Cup might be the only one, but the Everest itself is just one of the best events that racing's ever seen. It's certainly becoming so popular amongst not only the fans but the racing industry have embraced it. So it ticks every box. It's just a wonderful atmosphere. That moment where the crowd sings Sweet Caroline just as they're going out and getting into the gates is something that everyone looks forward to every year. So it's certainly going to be the biggest spring I think we've had here in a long time.
Pretty sure that's an American song, isn't it?
Well, we'll claim it. We'll claim it here in Sydney.
Just like the Pavlova. Well, it's a world-class facility, a world-class race, and in a world-class city too, Sydney. So everybody that's travelling here internationally or even from around Australia gets treated to just one of the greatest cities in the world too, and one of the greatest racecourses. All right, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire even though we're still a couple of weeks out. Who wins the 2025 Everest?
Well, you really put my head on the chopping block there. Of course, it's going to be hard for Ka Ying Rising to be beaten, but look, he is taking on some of the best sprinters in the world, in those that are based here in Sydney, the local sprinters. Everybody knows. I know you spoke to Glyn Schofield a little earlier. He knows what it takes to beat an Australian sprinter, and I'm sure he'll have his opinion. I'm going to say to you, Lady Shenandoah, trained by our master trainer, Chris Waller. She looks something extra special. She was very unluckily beaten over 1,000 metres at her first run back. So, Lady Shenandoah.
All right, Chris Waller, very familiar with the North American audience, of course, from Winx a few years ago, and Huey Bowman, of course, is riding in Hong Kong at the moment. Brett, thank you so much for your time. Good luck over the next few weeks. I hope you manage to keep a level head and get through it okay, and enjoy the great racing.
It's a great time to be alive here in Sydney. Look, this is one of the poorer days of weather that we have in spring, so anyone that wants to come over, you better book your ticket quick because it's going to sell out fast. But thanks, Andrew, and we look forward to a great day.
Thanks, Brett. Cheers, mate.
Our thanks to Brett Devine for his time, and we now go from Australia to Japan and welcome in our man Toshi Onikubo. Toshi, konnichiwa. Before we talk Lucky Sweynesse with you, is Ka Ying Rising making plenty of headlines in Japan?
Yes and no. To be honest, not many eyes in the Australian racing really, because timing wise, it's crashed. Compete against our domestic racing, but surely the Ka Ying Rising is the best sprinter in the world, and it'll be very interesting. And couple of media have already inquired about the Everest, what is that, why he's going, etc. So yeah, it will be more interested, but still that is a race. We are checking is HKRI Hong Kong International Races, so it'll be interesting to see, but not like the Arc anyway.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, there might be more interest as the Japanese sprinters head to Hong Kong for HKIR in December, as you just alluded to. Well, from one Hong Kong sprinting superstar to another, I guess, four-time Group 1 winner Lucky Sweynesse lining up in the Sprinters Stakes at Nakayama this weekend. What can you tell us about how Lucky Sweynesse has settled in and how his preparations are going, Toshi?
It's exciting, absolutely quality sprinter coming into Japan. And Japanese sprinters, sprinting distance in Japan is not the fault anyway. We only have 2 Grade 1 races in Japan over sprint distance of 6,000 and 1,200 meter. And that is not our fault there. But this year we got great horse, as great as Lucky Sweynesse, I would say, Satono Rave. So that horse would be the horse to beat. And Lucky Sweynesse, the question is, what is his home now? That is the question. And he's surely improving, coming back and he needed one run early September, and Connections decided to visit Japan and travel to Japan and race in Sprinter Stakes. That will be this weekend in 2 days. And, surely they are happy and they know what they're doing, and they decided, there was, proposal, and the Lucky Sweynesse is coming, but finally confirmed straight after his prep race in Hong Kong. So it'd be very interesting to see his performance in Japanese field at Nakayama.
Toshi, what kind of track can we expect at Nakayama on Saturday there?
At the moment, it should be good ground. And last year, it was a little bit late, and 2 horses from Hong Kong raced. Unfortunately, that was a great result for them. The Mugen and the Victor, the winner. Yeah, it'll be fair ground. But the one thing is, draw is crucial at Nakayama. So, the tight bend and sprint distance, I think draw would be crucial for them.
Do you want to draw inside or outside for this track?
Depends on your tactics, but I'd prefer middle. I'd prefer middle. But if you go front and if you have plenty speed, yeah, of course inside.
So for the Hong Kong audience that was familiar with Tokyo Racecourse with Romantic Warrior going over there and winning, how different is Nakayama from Tokyo? I know they go the opposite direction of each other, but what unique characteristics are there of Nakayama Racecourse?
It's definitely tighter, but not like as tight as Happy Valley or even Mooney Valley in Australia. And there's a uphill. But I think all should be fine. Any horse, it's same ground and same hill. So, but yes, Tokyo is a lot more fair race course than Nakayama. That's what I'd say.
Okay, thank you.
And this is a race, of course, that Hong Kong horses have won twice before. Silent Witness back in 05, Ultra Fantasy in 2010. I've got to say, with the forecast that you just mentioned there, Toshi, and the good track, I don't think when Lucky Sweynesse returned that he probably appreciated that sting out of the ground. There'd been a bit of rain that had gone through, but he was still taking off a little bit of ground off Ka Ying Rising late. He was finishing strong. No doubt he's going to improve on that run. He was very lightly raced last season due to that injury. You mentioned Satono Rev as probably the main danger. Who else should we be looking out for in this race, Toshi? And maybe a couple of other horses to put in our trifectas, such as would Lugal be another one?
Yeah, that would be very good question, Andrew. But I would say that the mare called Namra Claire, Christopher Mayer board.
Okay.
She's under the radar. She's highly consistent horse, exposed enough, and kind of looking like she's not good enough to win Group 1. This is her definitely last few opportunities to get Group 1. Getting Christopher Mayer in Japan is a huge thing. I think she would be the one to watch. And also the Puro Magic. He won very impressive run last time out. Straight track at Niigata, only straight, great stakes in Japan. 5 far on the Ibis Summer Dash. The Pure Magic finished 5th in the Alcott Sprint in Dubai. Also, he's under the radar. That's all I'd say.
Great. So a couple of others for us, multiples or exotic bettors to throw into our trifectas and first fours there. That's a really exciting race. It looks like a star-studded field. I'm very excited to watch that one. Early hours, Sunday morning, North American time. So we'll be having a big night. We'll have Sha Tin running at the same time. Alex, are you going to have to be staying up? No doubt I'll get some text messages from you at around 3 o'clock.
That sounds about right. Also for our American audience, Mama Kocha, half sister to Sadashi, doesn't have the white coat, but pedigree wise, you can kind of look out for her. So
very cool. Toshi, we while we've got you on, Forever Young, a horse very familiar with our audience here in North America, last year's Kentucky Derby and Breeders' Cup Classic place getter, and of course the Saudi Cup winner from earlier on in the year. He's back in training. What can you tell us about his next target as he builds towards a return to the Breeders' Cup here at Del Mar at the end or start of November?
Yes, his target for this season is definitely Breeders' Cup Classic at Del Mar, and he will be coming back Wednesday the 1st October at the Nihon Telebi High, Nippon TV High. Used to Ushibate Solo race that used as a prep race for Breeders' Cup Classic. He's back in training, and Yahagi, the trainer, is very happy. So yeah, everything is ready.
That's great. Toshi, was that Saudi Cup one of the greatest races that you've ever watched? I love that race.
It was just a great racing. It was great racing. Was it one of the best racing? I mean, atmosphere-wise, yes. But that will be confirmed in the Breeders' Cup Classic, let's say.
Oh my God, the Breeders' Cup Classic looks absolutely stacked, doesn't it? Forever Young, this year's Derby winner, Sovereignty, last year's Classic winner, Sierra Leone. We've got Fierceness, Mindframe, Journalism,
Baeza, I've probably missed a couple. He's certainly got a lot. Forever Young certainly got a lot of local competition this year.
I mean, as you know, I have quite a few caps to wear, and everyone talking, which race would be the wild best racing this year, with highest rated race, the Longines Wild best race. I tend to say, guys, not only tough, there will be a Breeders' Cup Classic. I think that would be great racing.
Yeah, 100%.
If he draws better, I mean, he got so unlucky with the draw in the Classic last year, when Sakai got stuck in the kind of no man's land with the pace and inside outside. I think if he gets a trip, he's going to be really tough. And again, we know how good Romantic Warrior is. The Hong Kong audience knows. I thought that Saudi Cup, as heartbreaking as it was for me, it was an incredible race. And if he puts that type of run in and makes that move off the turn at Del Mar, he'll be really, really tough.
Yeah, I think it's going to be sensational. All right, well, we're all excited to see Forever Young back on American soil again, Toshi, but the Japanese just continue year after year, bringing a huge contingent to the Breeders' Cup, particularly when it's staged in California. Are there some other names that we should be listening out for? I mean, a few years ago, I think you were tipping us into Love's Only You and March Lorraine, which was great. So give us some early tips for the Japanese runners coming to the Breeders' Cup.
Unfortunately, at the moment, not many big names are confirmed, and I can tell that in 2 weeks' time, I'd say. As I said, Forever Young gonna have one run in early October, and quite a few horses gonna have one more run, like Mainichokan, which Songline is, etc. So, I mean, the interesting one should have been Soul Rush, but he's confirmed, he got injured and he's not going to race in, America. He will race in Japan, then maybe Hong Kong, that's what they say. Likely race, old horse, well, as his age, likely race. That was interesting. But at the moment, I am not confident enough to give you any tip for the Breeders' Cup races. So I will keep my eyes and I will let you know.
Okay, well, we might have to have you back on the show in a couple of weeks' time and get the latest and greatest information on the Japanese runners coming to Del Mar.
Definitely.
Alex, you got anything else for Tosh?
No, thank you for your time, Toshi. I appreciate it. It's always wonderful talking to you.
Thank you for having me, Andrew and Alex. Thanks.
Thanks, Toshi. We'll see you at the Breeders' Cup, and if not, International Day at Hong Kong coming up in December. See you soon, mate.
Yes, yeah, definitely at the Del Mar. See you then.
See you then. Thanks to Toshi, and we look forward to catching up with him in a few weeks' time at Del Mar ahead of the Breeders' Cup. Good time now for our international highlight of the week, brought to you by our friends at the World Pool. And our highlight this week is the news that Rebels Romance, last year's champions and Chater winner, actually it might have been 2 seasons ago, was it now? But our former champions and Chater Cup winner Rebels Romance will be partnered by the legendary jockey Frankie Dettori this weekend in the Grade 1 Joe Hirsch at Aqueduct. Alex, this globetrotter, one of my favourite horses of all time now. He just gets the job done wherever he is in the world.
Yeah, he's so tough and so honest. I'm actually really pumped up for my buddy Chris Griffin getting to call Rebels Romance, the international superstar. I'm going to have to listen to his call out there Saturday. But look, we're probably going to see a star jump from Frankie, huh? A little flying dismount in the Big A before that place closed down. I think we should just enjoy it, let the Rebel hit another spot, and hopefully we see him run at Del Mar over the Breeders' Cup turf and defend his title. The way he runs, he's the perfect horse for Del Mar with that short stretch, and he can use his early speed like he did last year. Nice horse. He's a really fun one to photograph and really fun one to be around.
Yeah, I'm throwing this number out there, but I think he has won Grade 1s or Group 1s now in potentially 8 different countries. I'd have to go back and check his form, but it's something ridiculous like that. But an incredible CV. All right, time now to find you a winner at Sha Tin this weekend. And the first group race of the season is upon us. The Group 3 Celebration Cup, contested over 1,400 metres. That's about 7 furlongs on the C+3 turf. It's race 8 on the card. And an incredible lineup too. We've got last season's Premier Cup winner co-partner Prance, Packing Hermit strung
a couple of Class 2 wins together last campaign, one under the Magic Man, Joe Moreira, who we were just talking about earlier. My wish returns for Mark Noonan, probably the most consistent best 4-year-old of the season last season, and the Hong Kong Classic Mile winner, Luke Ferraris, rides. Now, who is Zach on? There we go, over the page. Purton rides Light Years Charm, who was looking for 4 straight wins after stringing 3 Class 2 wins together to finish the season last campaign. The speed map has Victor, the winner, and co-partner Prance up front. Pray for Mirth 3 wide behind them. Alex, how are you going to light this candle?
I'm going to light it with my wish. The reports are, the weights aren't out yet, but the reports are that he is officially over 1,000 pounds now.
Wow.
So the little my wish is growing, which is wonderful to see. But from barrier 4, he should just get a perfect trip sitting behind the speed there. And with the course being at C+3, it's going to be tough for those horses to make a extended run on the outside. So I think my wish is going to get the trip. Look for him to be kind of close to the front there, turning for home. Beyond that, I do like Light Years Charm in there with Pertinent. It's interesting that he is not on Packing Hermod. So I'm going to give a little bit of credence to Light Years Charm here. And then coming in for third, I've got Packing Hermod for Francis. He's just a solid, consistent type runner over there who also shouldn't be too far away from the early pace.
Similar numbers to mine. Loved this horse last season. My wish, he was up against the best and just constantly delivered. He's extremely consistent. Has trialled well heading into this, a couple of trials. And I think this race maps really well for him too. He can let the speed go from post 4 and come home with that trademark late run. So my wish for me as well on top, Davano. I thought resumed well enough to be competitive here at probably decent odds too. He'll get back and look for a ground-saving run. So watch him flying late along the rail, I think. And then Packing Hermod, I also think Packing Hermod could run a good race here. Always runs well fresh, so I've got him in my trifecta. Best bet, I'm going to go to race 4, number 1, Fun and Fun Together. And he reunites with Zach Purton, should lead for Fun and hopefully make every post a winner. So he's my best bet for the card. Race 4, number 1, Fun and Fun Together. How about you, Alex? A best bet for Sha Tin Saturday night?
Yeah, they redrew the rerun race from that we missed last week, and I actually like Dancing Code, who drew a little bit more inward this time. But he's run really well fresh, and he's a horse that I'm going to keep an eye out there for. And race 9, number 4, Dancing Code.
Dancing Code. All righty. Well, looking forward to a big night of racing action on Saturday night. So we don't just have Sha Tin, but we've got Nakayama and Lucky Sweynesse. So there's plenty of racing action to stay up late for, which is really exciting. And we'll, of course, have a full recap and review of all those races on the show next week. Alex, as always, thank you very much for your time, sir.
Thank you, Brownie. Hope to see you at Santa Anita on Saturday.
Oh,
at the great race place.
I will be there cheering on Gold Phoenix, who's going to get
old Phoenix or Gold Phoenix.
Yeah, that was a good call from Larry in the Del Mar handicap. Don't call him Old Phoenix, it's Gold Phoenix, as he won his 4th straight Del Mar handicap. Pretty amazing stuff. All right, I'll see you there.
See you there. And also, hey, we got to keep an eye out. Johannes back to the races. If he is going to make the Hong Kong Mile, this is a stepping stone to that for us. So here, Breeders' Cup, Hong Kong Mile. So we'll keep an eye on him as well.
Very good point. Fingers and toes crossed for Johannes and Umberto Rispoli at Santa Anita on Saturday afternoon. It'd be so great to see both of them in Hong Kong in mid-December. Let's hope that happens. All right, well, that's all we've got time for on this week's show. What a bumper show it was. Thank you to all of our guests, David Hayes, Brett Devine, and Toshi. And thank you to you, Alex. Thank you to everyone for watching, and we'll see you next week on the Hong Kong Racing Show.